Doing historical research online. Nowadays, internet has been increasingly become the primary means by which anyone would find any information that they need. Cyberspace is a great resource for research if you know how to use it properly. With a single click, we are able to access to tons and tons of available information online. In doing historical research online, a simple skill will get you far knowing where to look and how to look. Examples are Google and Yahoo search engine, websites that would help you lead to a lot of sources with the right search strings. So what is search strings? Search strings is a combination of words that you use to come up with relevant results and lead you to what you are looking for. Google Scholar owns customized platform for scholarly research by Google. Google Books also provides sources for scanned books where you may be able to find or read some chapters for free. Wikipedia is one of the biggest open source encyclopedia in the whole of cyberspace. In 2017, it has 40 million articles in 293 languages. Project Gutenberg is the oldest digital library in the world, found in 1971. It also has more than 50,000 items in its collection that includes many works concerning the Philippines, such as Doctrina Christiana, which is the first published book in the Philippines. Next is the published travelogues of foreigners who visited the Philippines, such as Jogger, Decomen, Virchow, Foreman, and Were Sisters. Austin Sprigg biography of Rizal, and all volumes of Blair and Robertson's The Philippine Islands, 1493 and 1898. Also, we have Internet Archive, online library that originally sought to archive web history, that grew later on to provide digital versions of other works. Archive contains 279 billion web pages, 11 million books and texts, 4 million audio recordings, 3 million videos, 1 million images, and 100,000 software programs. Philippine government websites are starting to be enriched with sources that may be used for historical research, especially on laws and other government issuances that may be useful when doing topics of a more contemporary periods. That's all for today, and we'll proceed to the next report.
Doing historical research in libraries and archives. Research in libraries and archives is necessary in the study of history, as these are the repositories of primary and secondary sources that allow us to create narratives of the past through methods of historical scholarship. Example of methods of historical scholarship are the primary sources analysis, secondary sources research, historiography, oral history, comparative analysis, and many more. So it is important upon students to be able to develop skills um, towards doing research in the venues, the library, and archives. So students of history are usually expected to write historical essays and historical research papers, and require the collection of data through primary sources. There are available sources there are available primary sources on Philippine History Online. However, much remains to be digitized and made accessible to the public. Digitized refers to the process of converting analog information such as text, images, audio, or video into a digital format. This conversion involves encoding the information into binary code so that it can be stored, processed, and transmitted electronically. Libraries and archives still provide more variety of sources in different formats such as books, journals, articles, newspapers, magazines, photographs, and even audio and video recordings. Nowadays, libraries have stopped the exhausting and outdated card cataloging system in which a cataloging system is a physical listing of all the contents of a library, organized with a single card for each item in the library. It was commonly used in libraries until the late 20th century when physical catalogs began to be replaced by computerized versions. Each card in the catalog contains information such as the title, author's name, subject, and location of the book, making it easier for patrons to find and locate books in the library. So, card catalogs can be configured in various ways, such as alphabetically, by title, author's name, or subject, and they were a crucial tool for navigating library collection before the digital age. So today, most libraries have been using an online public access catalog or OPAC. It is sophisticated computerized system used by libraries to provide users with access to their collections of resources. OPACs serve as an online catalogs or databases that allow library patrons to search for and locate books, journals, multimedia materials, and other items available in the library's holdings due to their space, efficiency, searchability, and real-time data updates. So instead of going through each entry on physical index cards, a simple search will yield the holdings of the library related to what you are searching for. A problem that could arise in this way is when the search yields too many results. Say, for example, when you search for Philippine history, as a search string would result in 100, even thousands of materials. But if you limit it to particular keywords so that as a student or researcher you can find your topic more easily, for example, Philippine Revolution, Emilio Aguinaldo, and also Declaration of Independence Day, and many more. Catalogs list down all kinds of materials available based on the subject used in the search. These could be books, journals, maps, and other materials that fits what you might be looking for. Um, do not limit yourself to using books and other published materials when you may be able to utilize other forms of sources. Materials that may be too old to be physically handled may also be available in digital form or microfilm. So the National Library of the Philippines in Ermita, Manila provide a rich treasure trove of materials for the student researcher interested in the Philippine history, especially in their Filipiniana section. The National Library of the Philippines in Ermita, Manila is the official national library of the Philippines. It is located in Ermita on a portion of Rizal Park facing T.M. Calao Avenue. The library is known for housing the original copies of the defining works of Dr. Jose Rizal, which are the Noli Me Tangere, El Filibusterismo, and Mi Ultimo Adios. Also, several sets of Blair and Robertson's The Philippine Islands in the year of 1493-1899, rare Filipino books of Philippine presidential papers, and other materials that are accessible to the public, especially students. So, a good library will never be too neat or too dusty because somebody will always be in it, taking books off the shelves and staying up late reading them. according to Lemony Snicket.
Good day, everyone. In the continuation of doing historical research in libraries and archives, research in archives may be a lot more difficult and proved to be too advanced. It's because archives often contain a vast array of documents and materials that may be in various formats and languages. So understanding and interpreting these materials require specialized skills and knowledge. And also, some archives have restricted access policies due to the sensitivity of the materials and also to protect the integrity of the collection. So, researcher may face difficulties in obtaining permission or access to certain archives, especially if they are private or classified. So in terms of physical condition of materials, so other archival materials are often too old and fragile. So they need careful handling and preservation. And also doing research in archives are time consuming. It's because archives may not always have comprehensive catalogs or indexes, making it difficult sa researcher na mo-locate of specific information within the vast of collection. Although doing research in archives may be a lot more difficult, but it will provide you many sources that are not available in the usual libraries. Here are some libraries and archives in the Philippines. The National Archives of the Philippines, located in Manila, is an agency of the government mandate to collect, store, and preserve and make available records of the government and development of the Philippines. So most of the materials there, especially for the years of Spanish colonialism, are written in their original language and may not be accessible in college students. But also other materials are accessible and it did not need to ask assistance from the staff of the or in the archives. The libraries in the University of the Philippines in Diliman, Quezon City, and main library in Gonzales Hall are also rich in resources that are useful in doing research. Other university library are also accessible to the public. So the Ateneo de Manila University in Quezon City holds the American Historical Collection. So a rich source for the American period in the Philippines. So kung kamo kay if you're doing research about American period, so you can go there, and because they have a lot of resources about American period. Next is the library in the University of Santo Tomas and España, Manila. It is also has collection from the 16th century. It is also a historic site because the University of Santo Tomas is the oldest Catholic university in the Philippines. Private libraries and institutions also have archives that may be used for research. So the first one is the Family History Center at the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Is a general resource for research on genealogies. So genealogies is the study of family history. So the next one is the Chen Ben-Si Memorial Library in Kaisa Angelo King Heritage Center. So it offers resources on Chinese and Filipino Chinese in the Philippines and in Southeast Asia. So kung gusto mo about history about kung ganan mo kay about history about Chinese and Filipino, so you can go to these archives. The Archdiocesan Archives of Manila hold a significant collection of historical materials related to the church history in the Philippines. So, these archives are essential for researchers and historians interested in exploring the history of the church in Manila and its surrounding areas. So, doing historical research on local archives, museum, or public libraries would be great help in doing uh, research because you can access primary sources that would be helpful. Uh, that would be all my topic, and thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Now let's continue to discuss the doing life histories and biographical research. Now, so studying history is always focused on history of nation and different collective. So some forms of locating evidence are scholarly chronicles, memoir, life history writing, biography, and narrative biography. So these examples had a great deal to a person's life. It allows us to observe how people and society behaved in the past centuries. No, so life history is an oft neglected subdiscipline of history because it is seen as trivial to larger narratives of nations, societies, and civilization. So therefore, it neglects the importance of individuals' legacy. As you can see, it focused on studying nation, for example, World War history. No, it was seen as an international conflict that occurred in 20th century. Now, to analyze it, it was studying the history as a whole without knowing the importance of individuals, legacy, no, the soldiers' sacrifices, and the people involved by the war. So, life history research should be realized of the students in history that individuals' breakthroughs is a significant contributor to the nation. Now, individuals' influence can span centuries and generations. Involved individuals can also influence large spaces and many places. So there are some factors that individuals had studied. For examples, Jesus Christ as an individual influenced the whole world, and the life of Jose Rizal. Rizal as an individual influenced many generations of Filipinos. His novels inspired radical Filipinos to fight the colonizers, and it bring light as well as the contribution of the most important organization in 1892 known as the KKK. So these examples are cases of exceptional individuals because they contribute a great deal to our nation. So therefore, history has proven that their lives, their exploits, and their legacies had a huge impact in the society where they belong. Nevertheless, the writing of history should not be limited to great individuals like heroes, great leaders, or prophets. So, indeed, people's interest in history can be perked up once they realize their lives can be plotted alongside the trajectory of history of a larger nation, society, or even local community. So, I guess that could be all. Thank you.
Good day, everyone. Today I'm going to continue the report about doing life and biographical research. The process of conducting life histories and biographical research involves a comprehensive exploration of an individual's background and experiences to gain a deeper understanding of their development and persona. For instance, when analyzing the life of Jose Rizal, it is crucial to move beyond significant events like the publication of his novels or his exile to Dapitan. A thorough examination of Rizal's life necessitates investigating various aspects that influence his character, including his family, education, peers, travels, and relationships. By delving into seemingly minor aspects of an individual's life, historians can uncover valuable information that goes beyond mere facts. This approach allows researchers to establish meaningful connections between different aspects of an individual's life, facilitating a deeper understanding of their journey and the factors that shape their identity and contributions to the society. In essence, scrutinizing diverse elements of an individual's life history, including family, education, institutions, and broader societal context enables a more profound comprehension of the individual's development and the influences that molded their character and actions.
So now, we're going to tackle about doing local and oral history. The history subjects and courses usually taught to students in schools are Philippine history, world history, and history of Asia. Little known as about is the discipline of local history. Local history is the study of the history of a particular community or a smaller unit of geography. Debates, however, continuously persist on the definition of this subdiscipline, particularly in the subject of its study. Does local history study local communities, local institutions, local groups, local heroes? In recent studies, local history tends to cover all of these topics. Local historians study the history of local institutions like churches. They also study the local economies, local heroes, and local events. Local history thus is also a broad and dynamic field of inquiry that aims to have an in-depth understanding of a certain locale. The most compelling question, however, is why study and do local history? In the first chapter, we discuss how history could serve as a repository of collective memory. Such memory is important in forging of national unity through identification with a common collective past. Local history can serve as a balancer of these tendencies by showing the peculiarities in certain locales in a particular nation, region, or continent. Studying local history can provide new and alternative interpretations on the different aspects of a nation's history. However, doing local history is not an easy task. Despite the seemingly smaller scope of study, historians are often faced with challenges in locating sources for local and specific objects of study. For example, it is much easier to study the life of national heroes than that of a local hero. Sources abound on subjects of national importance but tend to be scarce on local subjects. One important historical methodology to local history is oral history. Oral history is important in the midst of scarcity in written sources, historical documents, and other material evidences. This method uses oral accounts of historical subjects, witnesses, members of the communities, and the like. Oral history primarily relies on memory. This nature and definition of oral history cause positivist historians or those who subscribe to the belief that history should be primarily based on written documents to criticize the methods of oral history. Positivist historians see oral accounts as mere supplement to the history written from written documents. However, one cannot discount the importance of oral history in writing the history of underprivileged sectors and communities like the urban poor or indigenous peoples. These groups are usually left out one on records. They were undocumented because of their status. Local and oral history are important endeavors in the development and enrichment in the discipline of the history. These efforts fill the gaps in the discipline by highlighting alternative areas of study and methodology toward a more holistic, inclusive, and progressive study of our past.
I am Jamie P. Amoranti, and today we'll be talking about interacting with history through historical shrines and museums. So, what is history? History is a study of documentation of the human past. So, why shrines and museums are important? Shrines and museums are important for preserving cultural, historical, and religious heritage. They provide spaces for reflection and education and connection to the past, fostering a deeper understanding of our roots and identities. Additionally, they serve as platforms for storytelling and passing down traditions to future generations.
What will be to do if you are inside shrines and museums? So, inside shrines and museums, you can engage in various activities depending on your interests and the exhibits available. You can explore artifacts, learn about the history and the significance of different cultural of religious practices, participate in guided tours, attend educational workshops or lectures, and take time for quiet contemplation or meditation if appropriate. It's also a great opportunity for photography, documenting your experience and sharing what you've learned with others. Will be to do if you are visiting shrines and museums. When visiting shrines and museums, you can start by immersing yourself in the exhibits, taking your time to read descriptions and learn about the artifacts or historical context. Consider joining guided tours to gain deeper insights or explore independently if you prefer. Take photographs to capture memorable moments and share them with others. Respect any religious or contemplation or prayer. Most importantly, enjoy the experience of discovering and connecting with the rich heritage preserved within the sacred and educational spaces. So as we all know, shrines and museums are inactive today due to the vast growing of technology. But if you have a chance to go to shrines and museums, then go grab it. That will be all for today. Thank you.